Dave has been a member of this group, I believe, for, is it 4 years, Dave? Is it 5 years? I don't know if I should. So 5 years. He has been chair of the group twice now. I've known Dave since when he was the district manager of H&R Block in the Boulder area back in 2005 or 6. So over 12 years I've known Dave. And he's been a great friend, a great resource to me and my clients when he transitioned into this as a broker of property casualty insurance. Not just looking at one company, but looking at many companies to find the best coverage. Has saved my clients thousands and thousands of dollars. Just saved another one, I believe, $700 on one policy that he was able to change. So we sent out an email asking for questions to do that. A lot of people have done that before. It rarely works. I did see Mike sent you a good question for you as well. So Dave, take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you. Normally I would have a kind of a little slide presentation here, and then this is like the third or fourth time, fifth time that I've presented, but I found out that by the time I get through, there's so many questions that we run out of time for the Q&As, so I just figured, let me answer the questions that you have that's pertinent to what you need to know. So I'm going to start off with the first one here. Alicia sent me one on my email. It says, could you touch upon the difference between individual and commercial vehicle policies? Okay.
Yeah, but Alicia's not here, so do we really need to go?
But some of you may have the same questions. Okay. So when you have a vehicle and you have a business, and you say, well, my vehicle is on my personal insurance. Okay. When should I put it on a commercial? Okay. Well, the thing is that how is the vehicle used? If it's used predominantly for your business, then it should be listed as a commercial vehicle for your business. Okay. If it is predominantly for your personal, then that's where it should go with your personal vehicles. Okay. Now, some of the differences is that your personal vehicle can be driven and it's insured by any licensed driver in the home. Okay. But the commercial side is that there's multiple drivers. You may not know who's going to be driving it. That vehicle is a business vehicle. It may be just used by you 100% of the time, but it could be used by any of the employees at any time. Commercial vehicle insurance is a little more expensive because it covers a greater liability because there's so many drivers. So, but I do want to cover, going back to the personal auto, because I get asked this a lot. Okay. As an example, let's say that you've got yourself, your spouse, and you got a teenage driver. And you bought the teenage driver this older car because you know that he's just a new driver, he's 16, and the rate's going to just shoot up because of him. And you have bought yourself a new 2017 sports car you've always wanted, and your spouse has got a 2016 that they really like, and then you come and tell me that, okay, he only drives this vehicle, so we just want him to be covered on that vehicle. The way that insurance works is that you have to list every valid driver in the home. And then that driver is going to be rated on every vehicle in that home. So he may not drive the other two cars, but he's got to be insured for it. Unless you specifically exclude him or her from driving the vehicles, and then they don't drive any vehicles. And if they are driving a vehicle and have an accident, you're not covered. Okay. So that's one of the things that you need to know about my teenage son or teenage daughter. Okay, I don't want them to be insured on my vehicle. Well, they have to. Okay, unless they're excluded.
Dave, at what age can you emancipate them, so to speak, from them, or have their own policy?
18,
Okay.
they can have their own policies.
Does that then bring your rates back down if you put them onto their?
If they have their own policy, yeah.
Who's crazy enough to let their teenagers drive?
So Dave, you can exclude your child from driving 2 of the 3 cars in the household.
No.
No.
You can exclude them from
driving
driving
all the cars, so they wouldn't be insured at all.
Because it's either a valid driver or excluded driver. Not per vehicle.
So what about car collectors? People who collect, they are paying for insurance on every single person.
Okay, when they have vintage cars, or they've taken an older car and really souped it up, and it's worth a lot of money, there are certain carriers that provide special insurance for that. Now, that is, usually you only drive those in parades and stuff like that, so it's very limited. It's garaged most of the time. Those rates are, you get full coverage on that for about $200, $300 per vehicle at the most.
Can you go to separate companies to
Yeah.
insure? So if I want to,
Yeah, you can have your family automobiles with this carrier, and then this specialized carrier can do all the vintage cars and stuff like that, yeah.
So how about student drivers? You have to exclude,
Pardon me?
how about student drivers, like my kid has a driver's permit, right,
Okay, a driver's permit, they don't have to be, I mean, they are covered on the vehicles until they get a valid driver's license. And a learner's permit's not a valid driver's license. So they're still covered as long as they abide by the rules of being usually they have to have an adult with them, this type of thing. They're still covered if they've got permission from you to drive your vehicle. Okay.
So is the moral of the story that either, so if you have teenage driver, either you want crappy cars, or you want to kick them out of the house as soon as possible?
Or don't have kids?
Don't have kids?
That's a false choice.
You always buy a demo car first because they're gonna wreck it, then you can get a little better car.
There you go. That's what it is.
Get a little car, don't get a little cheap one.
That is.
I can help when you want to put them in
really
foster care.
Then Mike
Be on
sent
your
me
doorstep.
an email. And he says, are my cameras and artwork covered by my normal insurance? Okay. Or do you need auxiliary insurance? So you'd have to, again, ask some questions, or answer some questions before I could realize what to do with that. Are your cameras and your photography and that type of your artwork, is that strictly for business only?
He hesitated.
Well, I use it for both, and the art, some of the artwork is mine, but some of it is, I own a few pieces that might be worth value. There are people who have worked in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I bought them like 40 years ago, and I think they have value.
If you have the cameras and all the lighting and everything, and it is predominantly business, then you need to have a business policy.
Okay.
And then to cover those personal business items in that policy. Now, as far as personal, your cameras and your artwork are covered up to a certain point. But if these are fairly expensive, then you need to list those, and then we list that as a specialized or expensive equipment. And so we have to add that to the policy. But it can be under your personal policy. But we need to list the value, because if you have a camera worth $8,000 and it gets stolen and it's not listed as that type of equipment, you might get just a replacement value of a camera that's about the same. If they might give you $500. Okay. But if you want it to be insured for that $8,000 that it's actually worth, then we need to list it.
Okay. And one more quick question. I often keep my camera in my car because I want it at the ready. I hate being somewhere. Which covers it? If somebody did swipe it out of my car, is it the auto policy or the homeowners that covers?
Your auto policy would cover first, and your home policy would cover anything like that. Also, if you take your equipment overseas or whatever, take it on a trip, it's covered.
So in the same vein, as like doing the artist shows and stuff like that, where like Mike's got the show that's going on for the last 2 months, where he's actually set it up. It's not at his business. It's not at so-and-so. But it is a part of his business activities that covered underneath his business policy for when he's doing that? Or is that something that you can beef up for that time period and then drop it back down?
The question
or?
would be, what is the predominant use? Is it personal or is it business? Okay, that would determine. Parking?
Rent space for somebody in a barn, like for storage for cars, and they haven't insured, you want to insure them, how does that work? And does it matter what the cars cost?
Okay, so your cars are parked in a barn.
Yeah,
You want to know if your vehicles are covered.
well, let's say I own the barn,
Uh-huh.
to rent space to somebody.
Oh,
How does that
and
cover
so you
my
rent the
barn?
space to someone.
Yeah,
Okay. So basically then you got a business because you're renting out, you got money coming in, right?
yeah, it hasn't been done yet, but my kid's boss has a bunch of, these car dealers, so he's got all kinds of cars.
Uh-huh.
He didn't have enough space to put them, so one of the options is go to barn and he pays rent. The cars come and go, but they're valued anywhere from 500 to 400 grand, so.
Okay, then the owners of the vehicle should have coverage on their vehicle to cover from any kind of damage, whether it be liability or comprehensive or collision. And then you have to list where it's being stored. If it's an expensive vehicle or a vintage vehicle, it's okay to be stored other than your own property, but you have to list where that's at. Okay, so it would be up to them. Okay.
He would be concerned about general liability and casualties,
Right.
right? For his insurance.
Yeah. If the barn burns down and then it destroys the cars inside, then that'll fall upon your personal insurance policy.
So you have to update it as they come and go, or,
No, I wouldn't think you have to update it every time someone brings in a car or takes a car.
well, they buys and sells them. You know, when I was in a barn the other day, I think it was $3 million when you jumped in.
What's that address?
On the airport.
Then you probably would need to list what things of value you have in there to make sure that they're adequately covered. Because it's going to fall back to Ken. That, okay, so it's a 67 Dodge Ram Charger. Okay. Well, you know, the blue book says on that it's worth $5,000. Oh no, this is worth about $17,000, $18,000. Then you're going to have to list that.
You're also going to want to have them sign a release of liability.
Yeah,
You were the next question.
yeah.
Which Keith would prepare for you.
Yeah, he does all my work, by the way.
Let me get
Dave, I wonder if you could address something, and maybe Keith could chime in too. So Boulder County homes are worth a lot. You got a home, and maybe you've paid it off significantly. So you've got, it's part of your big, it's part of it, it's a real asset for you. How do you cover that? Umbrella insurance is good. Should you think about a trust for the home? What's the right thing to do?
So
to
you've
protect
got a
that?
home that's worth a lot of money, but it's yours, it's paid off.
Or, you know, yeah, exactly, significantly. And because it's Boulder County, it could be, you know,
And is it your personal home?
yeah, just personal.
So it'd be a homeowner's policy, and then you have to calculate what the replacement value is on that. And then that's what it's gonna be insured for. So if it's completely destroyed, this is how much you're covered for to rebuild that house.
And then liability, somebody's suing you, is a trust a good instrument to do to put your house into and insure, or is that going too far?
I can't say anything about trust, but I can tell you about the insurance, is that you've got a liability on the home. Okay? Normally, a lot of insurance carriers say $300,000. I push for $500,000 as a minimum.
On the home
because
policy, right?
on the home, yeah. I mean, That's the liability on the homeowner's policy. Because the difference between 300,000 and $500,000 is about $1.20 per month. So it's well worth it.
You should also mention umbrella policies.
Yes.
Umbrella. So
Yeah,
that, the umbrella takes place where the 500
Yeah,
stops.
umbrella is an excess liability policy. So if this much is used and there's still some that it hasn't been covered yet, then the umbrella will come in and you can get 1 million, 2 million, 5 million.
Just from a legal standpoint, the other advantage is the umbrella that goes with kids. I had a friend of mine, his kid, minimal insurance, parents owned the car, he got a DUI. We got really lucky because his parents had significant assets. And they now have a $2 million umbrella after talking to me.
That's exactly where I'm going with this, is what if it's something outside of the home and now that you're liable, somebody sues you? What insurance should you think about if you...
Umbrella. Let's say that you are driving and the sun's in your eyes and you make a right-hand turn. You didn't see someone in the crosswalk here because the sun's in your eyes and you hit the lady that's pushing the baby. Okay? Okay. Lots of money you got sued. First of all, your liability and your homeowners is going to, your auto is going to take care of that. Okay? Whether you have 250,000, 500,000 liability, if it's in excess of that, then the homeowners will kick in. And then if that's not enough, then your umbrella
Is that adequate coverage to protect you, your assets?
Each person is different with their assets. Okay, so we have to find out where you're at. You know, usually a young person, they've just got married, they don't have a whole lot. So there's not a lot that someone can go after. But if you're established and you've middle-aged and you've got a lot of assets, those assets can be attached. Okay.
We are actually wrapping up, so feel free to get with Dave
That's 15
after.
minutes?
That's 15 minutes. I know it goes by quick. Thank you very much, Dave.